So to get started with these light boxes, the first thing that you need to create is the foundation. All parts are labeled, laser engraved, and then also engraved into the foam sectioning. So we're gonna be looking for HEB, part number 1, and then part number 2. All the engravings should be facing the same direction. You'll know if you're not connecting it right, if the male side isn't meeting with the female side on these base parts. Once you have that properly set up, you're just going to go ahead and tighten these to hold them in place and then make sure that the connection is bridged. So the next 2 pieces that we're going to need are going to be part number 3 and part number 8. Part number 8 is what stores most of the power banks for this whole entire wall to function. You want to make sure that you're connecting it to part number 1. That way you could go ahead and bridge the connection. So now we got part 3 connecting over to part 2. Based on what dimension of fabric you got, whether it's a 10 by 10 or 10 by 8, you're gonna wanna make sure you use the appropriate center section for the walls. For our example, we're gonna be creating a 10 by 8 frame. So we're gonna be using the smaller sections, which are labeled VE480R. This piece will connect to the one that has the electrical connection. You'll be able to double check if you're doing it properly, if all of these engravings are facing the same direction. For this next step, I find it easier to create the top section all together and then connect it to the rest of the frame instead of trying to create the top piece by piece while the rest of the frame is already standing up. The centerpiece for the top portion is going to be HE1000T, and then we're going to be connecting it to the sides of 6 and 5 to create the rest of the top portion. So for part 7, as mentioned earlier in the video, you want to make sure that all these engravings are facing the right side. You're going to want to have somebody help you out. For this example, I have camera here, and we're going to go ahead and connect it to the rest of the frame. You want to make sure that you connect the male to the female, and then that these notches are going to go through the sections to be able to hold it in place. At that point, you have your frame completely set up. For the support bars in the middle, it's going to be S1 and S2. So you'll connect these like that, and then the top portion is going to be the S2. In order to hold the support bar in place with the frame, it's going to have a notch right here. You're going to want to connect this notch on both the opening in the top and in the bottom, and then twist in order to hold it in place. The frame is going to need 2 support bars, S1, VS, and then S2 in the top. For the last section of your frame, you want to make sure that you install the center support bars. They're going to look like this with red notches on the top and bottom. It's going to be part S2, S4, and HS1000. Now that you have your frame fully set up, as mentioned throughout this video, one of the key factors is making sure that all the engravings are facing forward. For this example, we set up the 10 by 8. The center pieces are facing forward, the support bars are facing forward, bottom section frame is facing forward, and then also the top section of the frame, those engravings are facing forward. That's how you know that you created it correctly. Now it's time to install the fabric. Our fabric has silicone edged strips all along the edge of your fabric. There is an opening all alongside the front and back of the frame. You'll connect corner to corner on all 4 sides, and then you can run your finger down, inserting the rest of the silicone strip into the frame. You're going to want to connect the power cord to the rest of the frame. You're going to feed the line through this opening at the bottom of the frame, and then you'll know that it's in place once it clicks. Once you have connected the power to your frame and you've tested out that all the lights are working properly, you'll then add the secondary fabric to the back of the frame, and then after that, you're all good to go.